Welcome to the Smart Sewer Public Meeting for Pine Creek, Rock Creek, Areas 3 and 4, Inflow and Infiltration Reduction Project Public Meeting. This is a public meeting in advance of construction for this project in your neighborhood. At the meeting, we have Brian Hess, who is the Smart Sewer Officer, Casey Water, Nikki Chestnut, who's our project manager. The design professionals on this were Jonathan Hofflander with Olson, Julie McNiff with Jacobs, and our construction contractor is Mike Akins with She Digs It. You are watching this online, so you are aware that this meeting is being recorded and posted to the Smart Sewer Program website, kcsmartsewer.us/LCRC34, and on the KC Water YouTube channel. And please submit any questions you have through the feedback form on the webpage. We hope after this meeting you have an understanding of the sewer infrastructure in your neighborhood and what we're doing to improve that infrastructure. Also learn a little bit about some of the challenges KC Water is trying to solve through the Smart Sewer program, and then provide feedback on the construction process and what you'd like to see during that phase of this project. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Brian Hess to talk about KC Water.
Thank you, Drew. Again, my name is Brian Hess. I'm the Smart Sewer Officer with Kansas City Water. Just a little bit about KC Water. We are 3 utilities in one. We are made up of drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater. This project addresses our wastewater infrastructure, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that and some of the challenges that we have. So the city's sewer system is made up of a combined sewer system and a separate sewer system. And I'll talk a little bit about what that means here in a second, but the combined sewer system is generally the older areas of town. Some of the infrastructure dates back to 1857 and makes up about 58 square miles in the area around downtown and just south of there. So the separate sewer system are those areas in this slide on the green and are outside of the older sections of town. Pipes are newer, dates back to the 1960s, but still have material and age issues that we address through projects. So the combined sewer system is a system of collection of our sewer water and stormwater. So our wastewater and stormwater are collected in the same piping system. In the low flow non-rain times, we have our wastewater that's captured in a single pipe and goes to the wastewater treatment plant. But when we add stormwater to that, there is an opportunity to fill up the pipes and then overflow that cause combined sewer overflows into the rivers, creeks, and streams. The separate sewer system was what we have in this particular area is a system where we have separate pipes, one for wastewater that carries that directly from the house or business to the treatment facility, and then a separate storm sewer pipe that collects the stormwater runoff from streets and other areas that takes that directly to the creeks. Those do not combine, and we are doing projects such as this I&I project to make sure that we can keep those in separate piping systems. Part of what we deal with in our sanitary sewer systems are intrusion of water from the storm or groundwater that gets into our pipes and causes those to fill up and possibly overflow in certain situations. So they are getting older. They develop cracks and breaks and just wear and tear from age. A lot of that has to do with roots that may be in there or just brittle material. So any of the areas that can allow rainwater to get into our sanitary sewer system, we want to control that and try and keep it separate. And this inflow and infiltration project is part of how we do that rehabilitation. So some of the challenges that we face at KC Water and in Kansas City is sewer overflows that happen during storm events. We do have aging infrastructure like I talked about, and a lot of these combinations can cause sewer backups into houses or businesses. I talked about the sewer overflows. Those relate to poor water quality in our water bodies, and then also rates that didn't reflect how we needed to maintain our wastewater infrastructure are some of the issues that we've been dealing with. Through the Smart Sewer program, which is part of our overflow control program related to consent decree from EPA, we are putting an investment into our infrastructure to help prevent overflows and combined sewer overflows into our water bodies to protect our water quality. As part of that, we do a number of different infrastructure improvements, and those are to allow us to clean the stormwater, to keep it in our pipes, to make sure that we're able to treat it. And so we do green infrastructure, we separate our sewers, we do sewer capacity improvements. All of these are to help capture stormwater and make sure that we can keep it in the pipes, get to our treatment facilities. Infiltration reduction we do in our separate sewer systems in order to help prevent rainwater to getting into those. And with our treatment facilities, we do improvements as well to try and capture and be able to treat all that flow that gets to the facilities. Our program is about midpoint. We're basically going through 2035 and all the way to 2040. We have a number of projects still in the process of being implemented. So this graph allows us to look at what we have still yet to come. The green shows what we are addressing in our combined sewers, the blue in our separate sewer systems, including I&I reduction like this project, and then some of the other citywide projects that are shown there in gray. With that, I will go ahead and turn it over to Nikki Chestnut, who is our project manager on this project, and we'll talk more about the specifics of this Line Creek project.
Hello, my name is Nikki Chestnut, and I'm the project manager, as Brian mentioned. I'm here to discuss the project in a little bit more detail. We'll get started by getting us oriented with the project area. This is a general overview of where the project is located. It's up north. It is a separate system. The next slide goes into a little bit more detail about the project boundaries. It is bounded on the north by Missouri Highway 152, on the east by North Troost Avenue, on the south by Northeast 42nd Street, and on the west by North Green Hills Road. We've tried to make most of the rehab work as trenchless where possible. So a little bit of detail about what work is being performed. We are doing approximately 12,500 linear feet of sewer main rehabilitation and replacement. 1,600 linear feet is open cut total line replacement. So we will need to open up the street, do digging in that area. But if you see the number for CIPP lining, which is a trenchless method that we're using, it's close to 11,000 linear feet. So we're trying to focus mostly on trenchless rehab in this area. And you can see that with more detail that we're having on the rehab of the service laterals. We're doing about 172 service laterals. Only 38 of those are open cut service lateral connections. And then the majority, 134, are going to be CIPP lateral liners. So that's cured in place pipe. We're doing that on the main line, so on laterals where possible. We're also doing rehabilitation or replacement of up to approximately 690 manholes. We have to replace about 15 of those where we have to actually take out the old manhole and replace it with a brand new one. But majority of the rehab methods is going to be maintaining the infrastructure that's in place there. We're going to have to do frame and cover replacements on a lot of the manholes or cementitious lining of the manholes. And the next slide goes into a little bit more detail, but this work is going to begin in November 2022. So this month we gave the contractor their NTP, and it should be completed in totality around January 2024. So this slide shows our trenchless methods that we're using for sewer rehab. The first picture is the cured in place pipe liner. The picture shows a pipe that has not been rehabbed yet, and the blue you can see is a photo after the cured in place pipe liner has been installed. That is the liner that's cured, and it's basically like a brand new pipe after we're done with that work. And we're trying to make the pipe as good as new without actually disturbing the street. And then we also are doing the same thing for laterals where possible. So the photo on the left shows a photo of the lateral lining, and we're basically doing the same method with laterals, just doing that work without disturbing any earth. And we don't have any CIPP point repairs on this project, but if need be, we might have to repair a portion of a defective pipe with a CIPP point repair. And the photo at the bottom shows you what that looks like. Other methods, when trenchless methods were not possible, we're going to have to do some open cut installation. We have total line segments that are going to be replaced in some areas, and then we also have a small portion of the pipe that's going to be replaced if needed. And we will have to build a trench, dig and excavate, and then take out the old pipe, put in brand new pipe, cover it with earth, compact it really good, and restore the surface back to the same condition or better when we leave it. And then we have manhole rehabilitation work also. We have a photo on the right showing you what some of the manholes look like without any work being done. They have inflow and infiltration. This one shows a brick manhole where infiltration may be occurring. What we do is go in with a cementitious lining, surface so that the infiltration is not allowed to enter the structure anymore. That's just one of the methods that we're using. Other methods are just replacing the frame cover so that we can get rid of those pick holes. Some of them have vented manhole lids. We're covering them or replacing them with manhole lids that have no holes so that the inflow cannot enter the system. Some of the things to expect during construction, we will notify residents before the work is actually being performed. We're going to have door hangers provided and placed so that you're aware of any work that's going to be happening in your area. You also will see sewer cleaning equipment. Prior to the work being performed, we have to go in and clean the sewer, get it ready for the work to be done. And then we also will have to clean and CCTV the sewer afterwards so that we have the work that has been done. There'll also be large equipment that could be creating noise in dusty conditions, but the contractor is going to get in and out of the areas as quickly as they can, but just so that you're aware, that's something to be expected. There'll also be temporary street, sidewalk, and lane closures if needed, as well as possible temporary sanitary service disruptions whenever rehab work needs to take place on a line segment where your property is being serviced. There's also going to be smoke from manholes during that CIPP curing process. So don't be alarmed. That's something to be expected. You will be notified prior to this occurring in your area. So you should be alerted and there'll be information on what you can do to minimize any smoke entering your home. And then contractors in some cases will need access to your backyard, but they will coordinate with you prior to property and doing work. There's also a possibility that existing trees and sheds and power poles might need to be relocated out of the easement so that contractor can actually access the work, and then they will replace as needed outside of the easement so that they can have access to the assets later. And with that, I think I'm going to turn that over to Drew.
All right, so you probably found this video on the project webpage or on the KC Water YouTube channel. Updates will be coming to the webpage throughout the project, so stay tuned. Keep that open in your browser. As Nikki mentioned, property owners will receive notification from the contractor prior to construction taking place in their immediate area. The RPR on the project for each of the areas is Phil Taylor with Olson, and his phone number is 816-541-0084. He can also be reached at ptaylor@olsson.com. Additionally, you can see Nikki, the PM on this project's information on the slide. Like I mentioned at the top, please feel free to fill out the feedback form on the webpage if you have any concerns. Thanks for joining and watching this recording, and we hope to have a successful project in your neighborhood.